You know my name. You might even know my face. So I'll only say this once. Watch and subscribe to Eric's channel, or the Knife of Dunwall just might visit you next.
Okay, we have finally come to it. This is the final mission of Brigmore Witches, and the final video in my playthrough and more discussion of Dishonored. I want to thank all, three of you who've watched all the way through so far, so appreciate that. Hope you found it entertaining and informative, and like I said once before, I hope it helps to make the world a little bit more real and kind of fills out, fleshes out some of the world for you. Also, of course, I want to take this one last opportunity to plug my book, so please, if you haven't yet, just check it out. It's a gaslit fantasy heavily inspired by the world of Dishonored, so yeah, check out the Heron Kings Rampant. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here's where we left off last time, in this hallway. Let's go down here and check on Overseer Pradcliffe. He's still there. For now. And there are a couple of witches in this hallway. This is the, I guess the second floor overlooking the central area between the east and the west wings. So much for stealth.
Lay down.
I do love those stun mines, though. Delilah's orders. I've ordered the lantern to be placed in my studio in the west wing. Use it to enter the painting only if your situation is dire. I will be busy preparing for the ritual and cannot be disturbed. I trust you can handle Daud should he materialize. Delilah. And don't trust too much. Okay, a couple of ways we can go. Let's go through here first. So you see a bunch of boxes of earth and plants where they kind of grow their plant-based potions and poisons and all the things that they use to do witchy stuff. Second solution, this is Piero's rant. We already read this once. Not sure why it's here. And this just goes down into that east wing hallway. Don't want to go there quite yet. Oop. And here is the last regular bone charm, 404. The Blight of the Cobblestone, excerpt from a street pamphlet drafted by anonymous intellectuals. Action is necessary if the Empire is to stand against the juggernaut of what is commonly called industrial progress. The momentum of this hungry beast requires equal vigor simply to halt its destructive advance. No action against the industrialization of our nation-states can be deemed too extreme when we understand what is at stake. The advancement of industry infects every aspect of our lives, and hazardous conditions assault the citizens of Dunwall daily. Workers are treated as disposable cogs in the machine, sacrificing their lives in the name of faster construction, mass assembly, and greater profits. Should those of us in opposition to these trends not sacrifice themselves in the fight against our unfeeling oppressor? Will we be satisfied when our children ask what a pasture is, and the best we can do is point to a cobblestone street black with the filth of mechanical production? Will we struggle in the coming years to recall a time when we actually made our pies by hand, or baked bread in the ways of our grandmothers? What is at stake today are our very cultures from the cold north of Tibia, down through Morley and Bristol, all the way to the warm south of Serkonos. All men and women with a love for our ways must stand against these changes. So got a little anti-industrialist propaganda here. Maybe the witches thought they could make use of whoever wrote this. And painting ritual. The painting of the possession target must be positioned above the altar. After preparing the ritual, the performer must lay on the altar. If the ritual has been prepared correctly, the performer will then enter into the body of the subject of the painting. Warning: the subject of the painting must be the possession target. Any other painting may trap the performer of the ritual. So that gives us our potential non-lethal elimination. And finally we come to, I believe, the final rune. Yep, 4/4. So this is the final rune in the mission. And once again, that just goes down to the east wing hallway. Okay, I think that's everything in this part. Now we've got to go upstairs to... Wait, let me... So here we see Radcliffe is gone. Don't know where he's gone. He just despawned, but who knows. Okay, so if we sneak through here, we can get the last corrupted charm, and the library wing is ahead of us. So this way is collapsed. And the door to the library is locked, but...
I'm glad I found you. Is the painting of the void sealed?
Yes. I put the lantern back in Our Lady's studio. It'll be ready when she calls.
But I don't think Delilah will return this way. When she calls us, it will be to Dunwall Tower.
Probably true.
Evie, may I confess something to you? Promise not to tell the others.
Of course. You can always confide in me.
When I was in the studio, I painted the mark on my hand, just to see. It was foolish, I know, but I couldn't help myself.
Never be ashamed of your ambition. It's why she chose you.
Thank you. Your words are always exactly what I need, Evie. If only my birth sisters had been more like you.
Well, if they had, they'd still be alive, wouldn't they?
Okay, so there's a tripwire here over that bathtub, and you can look through here, and it might be based on whatever your playstyle is to take care of these witches now rather than later. I just like shooting through this hole. It makes me feel stealthy. I don't know if you can blink through there. Alright, let's see if I can lure them in here. No?
Tricks on me again.
Yes, the trick of the exploding door. So since we didn't use it, we can pick it up. It's so satisfying. There's where we were looking through before. And again, if you're still going for loot, there's... Uh-oh.
Over here.
So you can see when they enter combat, they kind of turn green. It doesn't seem to help them. I don't know if it gives them any kind of powers, or if it... I don't know if it activates their... all their powers to summon those thorn bushes or whatever they are, but yeah, they turn green. Daughter of Tivia, already read this. Yep. And Shadow One Bitterleaf, already read that. So you can see some of these Gravehound skulls waiting for you if you were to drop down there, so use pull. You can pull them up and break them. Well, sometimes. Oh. That works too. Okay, but before we go down there, I'm going to go up to the studio and get our magic lantern. Oop. And you've got to be careful. So you see you're up in the kind of in the attic here. Oh, a little bit of loot, but I don't need anything back here. No. Okay, so there are some tripwires here with some projectile launchers, so you want to disable those. But you'll notice that the tripwires are right next to whale oil tanks, so even if you don't set off the projectile launcher, it'll still blow up the whale tank and you with it, so.
Emily Colvin.
So here's the lantern. Delilah's journal. Now that the painting is finished, I will sit in young Lady Emily's skin and wear her face like a mummer's mask. Havelock and his lick-spittles will put the child on the throne, but it is me they will be crowning. Delilah. The kitchen girl from Dunwall Tower. They called me Sokolov's apprentice, but whose paintings reach through to the spirit? Mine. They will never know their blunder, but I will be sure to whisper it in their ears at their executions. My followers will bear the lantern to the gallery in order to open the way to the void. There I will use the painting to complete the ritual. My walk into Emily's flesh must be undisturbed. The ritual has other uses, which I will explore over time. Any image made by my hand could serve as the focal point for the spell. I imagine one of my enemies as a still life, imprisoned in a bowl of fruit without amusement. It's interesting that she makes no claim of being Jessamine's sister, or half-sister, at this point. So, obviously the developers didn't think of it.
So Delilah wants to use Emily to become Empress.
The Howl from Beyond, excerpt from a work of fiction by P.J. Stokeworth. As Gregory and Alia crouched in the dark of the upper hall, they could hear the thing drawing close. It had followed them from the forest, through the garden, and into the house. Now, as they leaned against the wall, exhausted and terrified, they could hear it coming up the stair. Moving slowly, it scraped along, exposed bone dragging across wood and carpet. A ragged panting foretold its passage, as dead air was pushed through a throat eaten away with rot. Reaching a grim conclusion, Alia swallowed. Her face went slack, and she gave Gregory a final glance before plunging through the window glass, into the moonlight and night air. At the sound of her delicate body smashing against the cobblestone below, Gregory let out a keening moan. And as he did, his voice was matched by an unearthly howl from the stairwell, and the rapid scratching of clawed feet rushing up toward him. So this is generally considered to be a description of a gravehound attacking someone in this work of fiction. It's not verified, but probably it is. The Fugue Feast. I've already read this. Alright, so you want to not trip those tripwires. Kind of jump over that. It's been implied that Emily was conceived during the Fugue Feast, but others have said that her birth month is all wrong, and that couldn't be possible. But I'm not quite up on all the months of the year, so maybe not. But you do see that book close to where Emily is located or referenced several times, so who knows. Okay, now we have everything we need to go get Delilah. Come back here. I don't think there's anything back here. Nope. Alright, so this is the West Wing hallway that was locked when we first came in, but now we have the key, so we can go straight through. And now we can go into the East Wing hallway. Watch out for that tripwire.
Seems that Rothwild's gone missing from his slaughterhouse. There's chaos on the killing floor.
Lord Ramsay or one of the others will move in. The city needs whale oil.
Let them tear each other apart. We'll feast on the spoils.
So if you have that statuesque bone charm, I think it's a corrupted charm, that can be pretty useful around here, because with that one, as long as you're not moving and not in combat, they won't see you, even if you're right in front of them. But, we don't need it. If you go up to the second floor, you can kind of skip past some of these witches. I think their dialogue is all pretty standard, so I'm not sure there's a whole lot of new dialogue to listen to. Or they're just singing. A lot of tripwires along here. I mean, they're easy to see, so.
It pains me that I cannot be at Delilah's side during the final moments of the ritual. She's alone. What if something goes wrong? Who will help her? Doesn't it worry you?
You underestimate our great lady's resourcefulness. She is not alone. Not entirely.
The statues. Of course.
They're more than statues. She's put her will in them, and in the void their power is much greater. Do not fret, sweet Tilda. Lady Delilah needs you to be strong and steadfast. This is no time to wilt like a summer daisy.
I won't. Forgive me, sister. You're right.
Okay, so here's the room that Delilah is using as an art gallery. And here you can see the Brigmore family banner there. There's with the tree there. And like I said, they made their fortune in timber supply, and then lost it during the whale oil boom. I guess as the whale oil made steel construction more prevalent. The timber lost its value. So you see all these kind of occult symbology, arcane symbols, and it's the same kind of images you see in Granny Rags' lair if you go face her, and some of the places where she has her recipe. Same stuff. Delilah's notes. Brunhilde came to me last night while I was in my studio in the West Wing, finishing the ritual painting of young Lady Emily. She informed me that one of our girls allowed herself to get caught and interrogated at Coldridge Prison. Nevertheless, it seems Daud is oblivious to my plans. Not so much. Okay, so here's the painting. Where it opened, I entered. And it looks blank, but we use the lantern. Not sure what the lantern is actually doing. Just hold it next to it, and suddenly it becomes a painting. But, video game logic.
You have many talents, Daud, and they've served you. Delilah's talents are quite different. She creates images, but she does more. She captures spirit. She insinuates her will into her subject, whatever it is. We're witnessing her masterpiece, and perhaps yours as well. I gave you Delilah's name, and you followed it to this moment. You see now what hangs in the balance. Emily's life, Delilah's ambition, an empire in the act of crumbling. In your long life, I've rarely seen you act with such consummate grace. I give my marks sparingly, and I don't play favorites. But I will watch this with unusual attention.
Okay, and obviously that's the low chaos version of his remarks. Into the void.
The void. Time to see what you've really got, Delilah.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a hard save here. Because I want to explore a couple different ways of dealing with Delilah. Also a quick save. Now remember, if you fall off a ledge in a void, you just kind of end up right back where you started. Usually. Keep that in mind. Okay, as you sneak up on Delilah, a few things you can do, and you might think, well, the stealthiest thing is to just stop time and choke her out. But her statues come alive and attack you, so not really a very useful thing to do. Let me go ahead and upgrade. Okay, so one thing I thought was kind of funny is that you're in the void. You're not in the real world, yet you can still summon an assassin, which Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But see if we can get some of the dialogue.
No one else was even close to finding me.
Are all artists narcissists?
Where is come? Help me slay this fool! We'll make you free! Ready, go! Scream, my love!
Okay, so you can actually also just go up and talk to her. So let's do that. And if the statues see you, they'll whisper, warn her.
Daud. Well, you've lived up to my expectations. Creeping in like a mouse. The mouse of Dunwall. I must say, I'm surprised you came this far. You're the one who gave me this chance in the first place. I thought I might see the Lord Protector pop up at the last minute. But never you.
I suspect Corvo's busy.
Are you doing this for Emily? Don't bother. You killed her mother in front of her and sold her to a gang of murderous crooks. You think she's fit for the throne? No. The girl Emily Kaldwin will have the mind of Delilah the First, who did not inherit everything she got, but came to power through the force of her own genius.
Your genius couldn't keep me from reaching you. It won't save you now.
Oh. Who have your victims been, Daud? Civil servants? The housekeeping staff? Drunken boys on watch duty and frail old aristocrats? None like me. Your mother should have taught you not to anger a witch. I'll kill you!
She did, actually. Alright. Okay, so after that, the statues come alive and you have to fight each one. Destroying the statues does not count as a kill, since they're actually not people, they're statues.
Come! Help me slay this fool! Over here! Burke told me about this.
And as usual, the key to winning is usually just to keep moving. Ah.
You have no right to take this from me!
Oh man. Look, I'm no stealth gamer BR, okay?
Can't possibly know what I paid for this.
Actually, this little tunnel is a good place to camp out.
I will not take second place.
Alright, I think that's all of them. Okay, so if you defeat Delilah and her
No!
copies,
You can't do this! She took my life.
right, so save here, and a couple things we can do. First is the death animation, which is always fun. Okay, now let's reload. A couple more options. Can knock her out. Now, remember, if you fall in the void, it's not lethal. However, in this particular case, if you knock her out and throw her off a cliff, that counts as a kill. So somehow that does kill Delilah. I don't know. Another thing you can do is complete the ritual. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Alright, so you gotta put her on the altar. Replacement painting is here.
Would any painting work for Delilah's ritual? I wonder, this painting might be useful. Paint flows, blood flows, life goes. Out with the old, in with the new. You've lived in these bones long enough.
I'll find you. I will not be beaten. Curse you all. I will not.
Alright, and now she is trapped in the painting. And the next thing you can do is you can actually just let her finish the ritual. You'll get a game over. But I'll go ahead and show that. I'm going to try and quick save at the right moment so you don't have to watch all these over and over again. You want to stay out of line of sight of these statues, kind of go behind them if you can. So they don't...
Painted in the same style as Emily's portrait.
So they don't alert Delilah.
Narcissist.
Yes, they are. So I think you actually have to get closer to trigger the scene. I usually just hang out down here. There you go.
Emily Caldwin, daughter of Jessamine Caldwin, heir to the Empire of the Isles. I call out to you from the void. I call you with ochre from Morley, carmine beetle shells, zirconin lazurite, viridian bile. The tones of your flesh I tempered with Pandician chalk. The same loom that spun the fabric of your dresses made this canvas. I made my brushes from the hairs of your own scalp. Emily,
explains the visit to the
cannot ignore
dressmaker.
My power is too deep. my reach too long.
So the ending of this game is actually very similar to that of the first Thief game,
Brush touches paint.
where you replace a
Brush touches
secretly replace an object during a ritual
Brush touches void.
to trick the antagonist.
And now I see you, Emily Caldwin. I breathe your breath. I can feel what you do. The bright mornings in the pub. I feel the cold night air of the ruin where you sleep. And the stink of the...
Of course, a lot of the Arcane developers also work for Looking Glass Studios that made Thief, so it makes sense.
Touches the moment. Mine touches the world. I feel your love for Corvo Atana and your lost mother. For your caretaker, Callista. I feel your fear in the night. Your hunger to learn. To become someone important. My hunger too. My fear. You are becoming mine.
I'm running
We are
out of
nearly
time.
finished.
Stop watching the painting.
Close your eyes, Emily.
Right, so at this point, you could
Feel the void open beneath you. Make
replace the
room for
painting.
me.
Let's watch
Give into me, Emily.
the whole thing.
Give in to me now. Paint flows. Blood flows. Life goes. Out with the old, in with the new. You've lived in these bones long enough, sweet young girl. It's done. Goodbye, Emily Caldwin. Last of your name, gone into nothing. And welcome, Delilah the First, Empress of the Isles. It's over, Daud. My reign begins now, and it shall not end.
I failed to stop Delilah's ritual. Okay. She wasn't actually laying on the altar, I have to note.
We are nearly finished. Close your eyes, Emily.
Okay, now we can still replace the painting
Feel
up
the
until this
void
point.
open beneath you. Make room for me. Give in to me, Emily. Give in to me now. Paint flows. Blood flows. Life goes. Out with the old, in with the new. You've lived in these bones long enough, sweet young girl. Finished. It is complete. I am... What's happening? This is all wrong! What am I becoming? Outsider's blood? Is this some trick? Daud!
And that's the canonical ending, obviously. Okay, and that's the end of that mission. Not quite undetected. A couple, but that's right. Found the Brigmore Crypt, completed Granny's recipe, avoided triggering any traps, so yeah, that's a special action. And then trapped Delilah. All the runes, all the bone charms, regular and corrupted, there were no shrines, and more than half the coin. Alright, Daud hideout. Everything is connected. Delilah's threat is ended. You've made your choices, come what may. So here's...
No one will ever know exactly what it took to save Emily
end
Caldwin
sequence.
from a living death as Delilah's puppet. No one except the outsider, who watches everything and thinks his own dark thoughts and speaks to few in any generation. I've learned that our choices always matter. To someone. Somewhere. And sooner or later, in ways we can't always fathom, the consequences come back to us. I came from Serkonos to Dunwall as a boy. Made my living as a killer. One of the few who've heard the outsider's voice. I murdered an empress, but saved her daughter, who will one day rule the empire. Those were my choices. I'm ready for what comes. I have one more surprise for you. I asked for my life when I killed your Empress and took her daughter. Something broke inside me. Now I want nothing but to leave this city and fade from the memory of those who reside here. I've had enough killing.
It's a shortened version of his total speech, you notice.
So my life is in your hands. Make your choice.
You make an eloquent plea for a man with innocent blood on his hands. It's a shame Corvo doesn't know the real story, isn't it? How in these last days you passed through Coldridge Prison like a shadow, dared the tangles of Dunwall's underworld, and walked out unscathed, outwitted one of the greatest witches in a generation, all with consummate care and skill. How you saved Emily Caldwin, daughter of the Empress, first of her name, and no one will ever know. But how does it end for Daud, the hired killer, the murderer, the savior of the Empire? It's up to Corvo now.
I've always liked the texture on that blade there. It's like it's actual folded steel or something. But yeah, so that's the low chaos ending. Obviously, he spares you. All right, and that is Brigmore Witches. I'd probably rank the kind of the Daud DLCs together as probably I would say the best of all the games. I mean, it's not as long as the base game, but scaled for its length, I would say this is probably the best. At least it's my favorite. Alright, so yeah, once again, thanks so much for watching. If you did watch all the way through, again, hope it was entertaining. And who knows? Maybe someday I'll maybe someday I'll do the second game. But don't hold your breath. But in the meantime, if there's a particular lore topic related to Dishonored that you're interested in, just drop a comment, and maybe I'll do another one of these bonus lore videos on it. Who knows? But yeah, let me know. And yeah, thanks again for watching. And should we gather for whiskey and cigars tonight? Indeed, I believe so.